in the house. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are kicking it with Auntie Leah. Yeah, let's get it, let's do it, let's go. Yeah, let's go, let's get it with Auntie Leah. Yeah, yeah, come on, let's do it. Nothing better than kicking it with Auntie Leah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Auntie Leah is in the house. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are kicking it with Auntie Leah. Yeah, let's get it, let's do it. Come on in. Come on in now. So Auntie Leah can do a thing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yo, 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 welcome back to Kicking It with Auntie Leah. I am so glad that you guys decided to return to my channel and talk about Kendrick Johnson and what happened to this young 17-year-old boy. Tonight, again, we will be talking about Kendrick Johnson. Hold on just one second. All right, all right, all right. I have prepared a video. Let's see who's in the house. We have Young Nine in the house. Yo, what it do? We also have Mickey Davis, which is aka Fluffy. Welcome, 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 welcome. It looks like YouTube is playing with the notifications. They did not push them out tonight. We don't have a lot of people with us tonight. Hopefully they will trickle in. Everybody welcome Young 97287 to the party. It's not really a party, actually. It's a discussion. He actually wrote a song for Kendrick Johnson, an amazing song, and I didn't do a songography this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play video instead of my video. I'm going to play his video instead of my video. So I'm just excited to have you guys back with us tonight. I'm going to drop the link for you, Young Nine. Do you want to come up on the panel? Hi, 3 Javel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Kicking It with Auntie Leah. Tonight we're talking about Kendrick Johnson. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you, Young Nine. Young Nine is actually very close to the Johnsons. He has actually demonstrated with them, protested with them. So I'm pretty sure he has some good things to say. I also want to let you know that there is the beginning of the video, there is a songography, and but it wasn't written by me. I actually produced it, but a lady named Tina Marie Clark actually wrote the song, and it's called A Letter to My Killers. It is an amazing song. Young Nine, the link is in the chat if you want to join us. I was hoping that more people would come in. Hopefully YouTube will stop hating. They don't like what I'm talking about. I'm actually losing subscribers, but I don't give a crap about the subscriber count as long as this young man's name is getting out there, because what happened to him, it was tragic. It was tragic. It's unfair what's happening to the Johnsons. Not only did their son get unalived, their baby son, not only did they lie and say he fell into a mat and died of positional asphyxia, they are suppressing the truth, allegedly. Everybody is covering it up, allegedly. And on top of that, they're taunting this family by not allowing them to get justice or allowing them to sue the individuals that they believe are responsible for the demise of Kendrick Johnson. So we will continue to stand with this family. We will continue to pray with this family. We will continue to Shout justice for KJ, and we will believe that YouTube will stop suppressing my lives and stop suppressing my videos because they don't like what we're talking about. It is what it is. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the video. And we're just going to start. We're going to dive right into the content. And let's just talk about it, guys. That's all we can do. We're going to keep going. In Jesus' name, we're going to keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and load the video on the screen. And let's get into it. I want to make it bigger.
I lay alone in this cold grave, you stole my life, not my soul. The truth will be told, you've not gotten away. I live in your heads every night and day, on your minds I will forever stay. You've left my parents to grieve over me as you so freely walk the streets. Yet I'm on your mind constantly when you're awake or asleep. My hopes and dreams were dashed, you threw me away like trash. Your freedom won't last. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So don't get too comfortable, he's not done punishing you for my death. On that you can bet, you reap what you sow. I know you see the support from me. Receiving justice has grown bigger and bigger. This is a letter to my killers. Justice is coming. Justice is near, justice is near, justice is here, justice is here, justice is here.
In every death investigation, the evidence tells the story, not opinions, not assumptions, the evidence. What is collected, what is tested, and just as importantly, what is left behind. In the case of Kendrick Johnson, official reports document a large volume of evidence, but documentation alone does not equal answers. This segment is not about speculation, but it's about process, preservation, and consistency. This is the evidence. According to Crime Lab and investigative reports, the old gymnasium at Lowndes High School was secured and documented. The investigators conducted overall, mid-range, and close-up photography, along with digital video recording, scene sketches with measurements, and a three-dimensional scan of the interior of the gym. Several items were formally collected into evidence, including the rolled-up wrestling mat containing Kendrick Johnson, shoes found near the mat and inside of the mat, Kendrick's personal belongings, a yellow folder containing school papers, a blue book later described as containing Kendrick's papers, paper towels containing suspected blood from a restroom, and bloodstains observed on the gym wall. On paper, this appears thorough, but thorough documentation does not eliminate the need for careful analysis.
Thank you, Barbara.
Let's
J,
talk
for
about the
super
blue
chat.
book and the yellow folder.
Thank you.
According to the Crime Lab report, a blue book was found in the old gym and described as containing papers belonging to Kendrick Johnson. However, surveillance footage shows Kendrick entering the gym holding a yellow folder in his left hand, pressed against his body by his wrist. The footage does not show Kendrick carrying a blue book into the gym. So this raises several reasonable questions that deserve answers. Where did the blue book come from? If Kendrick did not enter the gym with a blue book, whose book was it? Was the blue book ever fingerprinted or tested for DNA to establish ownership? The Crime Lab report states that Kendrick's papers were found inside the blue book, but papers can be removed from a yellow folder and placed into another item.
Okay, I want to stop it right there. because this detail is very, very, very important. Guys, if you look at the video of Kendrick walking into the gym, you would see that he does not have a blue book with him. He only has a yellow folder. Now, I have carried, I'm sure we all have carried our folders with our hardback books before while we were in school. But what I would do, I would stick my folder inside of the book and carry the book with my hand and clutch it, right? So it wouldn't fall. A folder laying up against a book, it will get slippery. If you watch that video, you will see that Kendrick starts to run with his hand in his pocket and the yellow folder is just leaning against his side. He did not have a blue book with him. So my question is, where did the blue book come from? If he entered the gym without the blue book, where did it come from? 2, whose book was it? 3, did you even try to find out? The only thing they said is that the book belonged to Kendrick's because Kendrick's papers were in the book. But if you look at the folder looked like he was in a struggle. It has a rip in it. It's wrinkled. It has stains on it. Right? So it's kind of easy to take paper out of a folder and put it into a blue book to stage a crime, allegedly. Pay special attention to the details of the evidence, guys. This is all nefarious, all of it. Let's get back into it.
Which leads to the next question. Why was Kendrick's yellow folder damaged and stained?
See?
What caused that damage? Was the yellow folder tested to determine what those stains were and how they got there? When video evidence shows one item, but physical evidence later centers on another, it is not unreasonable to ask how that transition occurred. This is not an accusation. This is about evidence handling, documentation, and consistency. When items appear at a scene that were not seen entering the scene, the public deserves a clear explanation. Truth requires alignment between video, physical evidence, and forensic testing. Families deserve answers.
Let's look at what was tested. The reports indicate that bloodstains on the gym wall were presumptively tested and confirmed to be blood. However, presumptive testing only establishes the presence of blood, not whose blood it is, how it got there, or when it was deposited. The test revealed that the blood on the wall did not belong to Kendrick, but if the blood didn't belong to Kendrick, whose blood was it? Eliminating suspects in a death investigation is just as important as identifying them. That distinction matters.
I want to ask a few questions that come from a place of truth-seeking, not hostility. These questions are for Marianne Gaffney Craft, the medical examiner who performed the first autopsy of Kendrick Johnson. Where are Kendrick Johnson's fingernails? Where are his clothes that were removed during the autopsy? Where are his organs that were taken as part of that examination? And who removed the earbud wire from being wrapped around his arm and repositioned it across his chest? Family, these are not emotional questions. These are procedural questions. The crime scene documentation shows the earbud wire wrapped around Kendrick's arm, yet the autopsy describes the earbuds as being placed across his chest. That change did not happen on its own. Someone had to move it. In any death investigation, fingernails, clothing, organs, and personal effects are evidence. Evidence is not supposed to disappear, shift positions, or be altered without documentation. If items were moved, removed, transferred, or discarded, there should be clear records explaining who did it, when it was done, and why. The Johnson family has been fighting for answers for nearly 13 years. Wanting to know where evidence is and who handled it is not unreasonable. It is necessary. Transparency matters. Documentation matters. And families deserve honest answers about what happened to the evidence connected to their loved one's death. This is not about blame. This is about accountability. This is about truth. And this is about justice for Kendrick Johnson.
Absolutely.
Kendrick Johnson entered the gym wearing white, gray, and orange Nike shoes. According to the crime lab report, those shoes were found inside the rolled-up mat, positioned behind his knees, and not on his feet. Yet the same report contradicts itself, and states that these shoes were saturated with blood and placed into a drying cabinet. This raises reasonable forensic questions. If the shoes were positioned behind Kendrick's...
Okay, I want you to to pay special attention to this, because what the detective said was the shoes that you see behind Kendrick's knees, those shoes, allegedly, what this report says, and there is no corrected report out there because I did search, that those shoes that were stuffed behind his knees was saturated with blood. So he put them into the evidence drying cabinet. How did shoes that are placed behind his knees get saturated with blood when there's no blood on his feet, there's no blood on his leg, there's no blood on his bottom, on his stomach or waist down? All the blood is on the face because he was upside down and it drained out. So please answer that. Answer how and why would you put a pair of shoes in the drying cabinet and say that they are saturated with blood, and we can clearly see there was no blood on their shoes. There was no blood. Write down every discrepancy, every lie, because we want answers to all of them. And we won't stop until we get them. We won't stop until we get them. Let's get back into it.
His knees inside the mat, while blood pooling was documented near his head. How would those shoes become saturated with blood? What was the documented source of that blood? And was it DNA tested to confirm it belonged to Kendrick? But most importantly, was it DNA tested to confirm if it belonged to someone else? You know, someone like a possible suspect in a death investigation? Next, there was another shoe. A black Adidas shoe was documented near the scene and described as the shoe Kendrick was allegedly reaching for. This particular black Adidas shoe should not be confused with the other one found by a mat some feet away.
Now, I want you to look at this shoe. This is the shoe that Kendrick was allegedly reaching for. Okay? Let me put it back up. This is the shoe that he's allegedly reaching for. Hey, Set in the West, welcome. Thank you for being here. Look at this shoe. Is there any blood on top of this shoe? If this shoe was under his head and he's straight down positioned in the mat and blood is seeping out of his nose, his ears, and his mouth, why is it blood under the shoe? That's dry, by the way. And look at this. You can tell that the shoe was moved. Look at it. This was originally up here. Someone moved this shoe. It was planted. Why is it no blood on top of this shoe? It's under the shoe and it's dried. Let's keep going with this house of lies.
Crime scene photographs show that it was blood pooled underneath the Adidas shoe. At the same time, there was little to no blood visible on top of it. However, according to the photo, the pooled blood beneath the shoe appeared dry, not fresh. This raises additional questions, and here they are. If blood pooled beneath the shoe appeared dry, did the blood pool form before the shoe was placed there? What does that indicate about timing and movement at the scene? And more critical, why was the Adidas shoe moved from its original position as shown in the photographs? And who moved it? When exactly was it moved? And was that movement documented before blood pattern analysis was completed? Because once an object is moved, the original context is permanently altered. Finally, why was the shoe put inside of the drying cabinet in evidence when the photo clearly doesn't show a presence of saturated blood on it? This strikes me as odd. The crime lab report states that Kendrick Johnson's pockets were searched at the scene and items were removed from his clothing. One argument sometimes offered for searching a body at the scene is identification. But in this case, that explanation raises serious questions because Kendrick Johnson was a missing African-American teenage boy, reported missing on record the night before his body was discovered. He had distinctive long dreadlocks, and there was a documented description of what he was wearing that day. And more critically, his mother was present and in the school office when the body was discovered. So identification does not reasonably explain why the body was searched. Which brings us back to the central question: who made the decision to search Kendrick Johnson's body before it arrived at the medical examiner's office?
Okay, so let's make this make sense. Think about it, guys. Does it make sense if you found the body, Kendrick's body, in the mat? You already knew that he was deceased by the smell of him decomposing. You already knew he was deceased because you touched him and he didn't move, you try to pull him out or whatever, get him out the mat, you already knew. You called 911 and said it was a dead body. Another person called 911 and said somebody's in cardiac arrest. To me, that right there was a setup to contaminate the scene. So you already knew he was deceased, right? Why search his body? He's not the criminal. He's not a criminal. Why are you searching his body without the coroner being there? Why did you not wait until the coroner got there, moved the body untouched to the medical examiner office, and allowed them to remove the objects from his body? Was your intent to contaminate the scene? I think so, allegedly. Because everything they did to this scene did not follow the right protocol or standard protocol, and it didn't make sense. Why search his body? He's not a suspect. You already said that he passed away accidental. You already made up this crazy outlandish story that he fell into a mat and he died because of it, accidental. So what are you looking for evidence for? Make it make sense, because right now it absolutely doesn't. Everybody, please like the live. Please share the live. Please remember that you can send super chats if you want to bless the channel. Please join the channel as a member. I love y'all. Let's get back into it, because none of this is making sense. And I'm sick of it, because it's been almost 13 years that this family has suffered. They can't even begin to heal. They can't begin to heal because they can't even begin to mourn, if that makes sense. Let's get back into it.
This question is crucial because in death investigations, there is a widely recognized principle. First, the body should be preserved in the exact condition in which it is found until the coroner or medical examiner assumes custody. This preservation is essential because the body itself is evidence. Blood patterns, lividity, and positioning can be altered by handling. Next, trace evidence can be lost or transferred, and once altered, the original forensic context cannot be restored. Finally, photographs from the scene, when compared to the first autopsy report, make it clear that items on Kendrick's body were moved prior to the medical examiner's examination. Allegedly, that raises another critical procedural question. Is it normal to collect evidence from the body before it arrives at the medical examiner's office? The answer depends on how the case is classified. In some instances, when a death is clearly accidental and well established, limited evidence collection may occur earlier in the process. But that distinction matters, because at the time Kendrick was found, there was not sufficient investigative evidence to conclusively rule the death accidental, even though that is exactly what happened. At that stage, the cause of death was not definitively established, and the scene raised unresolved forensic questions. Kendrick Johnson's shoulder width was 19 inches. The mat's entry measured 14 to 16 inches. Nobody attempted to make sense of these facts, though. Do you really believe this kid stuffed himself into the entry of the mat while it is standing vertical to retrieve a shoe?
Okay,
No.
I'm going to stop it right there. Wind it a little bit. This is his dad. His dad has similar shoulders to Kendrick. This is Kendrick's, Mr. Kenneth Johnson Sr. The family has disclosed that Kendrick's shoulders were 19 inches wide. The entry of the mat was 14 to 16 inches wide. He cannot fall into this mat. It is impossible. And I darn for sure know that he did not squeeze into that mat, because I taught you last week. Two different cultures, right? You have one culture, Caucasian, that were raised to be adventurous. They're raised to go towards danger. They're raised to try things, right? They are like gung-ho about trying to get into or do something that is risky. African Americans by nature were not taught like that. We were brought up to walk away from danger, get away from danger. That's how we were brought up. We were not adventurous, right? A lot of us were not taken into the woods deer hunting or anything like that. We grew up in the hood where all our lives we had to fight, right? We grew up in the hood where we always had to watch over our backs. So we are always making conscious decisions. I know for a fact that Kendrick did not go into that mat voluntarily. The mat was bigger. It was tight. All he had to do was knock the mat over. And if he couldn't get it over, he had gym shoes on his feet. He was not going to risk his life for one shoe for gym class when he had gym shoes on his feet. Let's be real and let's get back into it.
Nobody attempted to make sense of these facts, though. Do you really believe this kid stuffed himself into the entry of the mat while it is standing vertical to retrieve a shoe? No. It's not logical to go into the mat, and I don't believe he did, willingly. And the manner of death had not been thoroughly examined. In fact, it is not normal for a healthy teenage student to accidentally die by falling into a rolled-up gym mat and suffocating. At minimum, the circumstances warranted a suspicious death classification, not an immediate assumption of accident. Yet decisions made at the scene suggest that the death may have been prematurely treated as accidental before a comprehensive investigation had taken place. So the question remains, why was Kendrick's body searched and altered before the medical examiner's examination? Who authorized that deviation from standard preservation protocol? And why did the handling of this scene reflect an accidental death posture before the evidence justified such a conclusion? This is not an accusation, but this is a process-based inquiry.
You know why? I'm going to stop right real quick. And I'm also going to explain this more later on in the video. Do you know why I said that this scene, it reflects it doesn't reflect the accidental death? If you look at his body, Kendrick is laying on his side with his feet twisted, with his shoes tucked behind his knees. If you're going to fall into a mat, just hypothetically, head first, you're not going to fall sideways, right? You're going to fall head first. And your feet's going to be sticking up, right? He was laid down on the side when you find him with his arms in the defensive mode. We'll get back into it. I'm not going to ruin it, but we're here to break down the evidence. Make that make sense. How did he get on his side? How did his legs get twisted? How did those shoes get off his feet and behind his knees? Lies. All lies.
Because when a death is classified too quickly, investigative urgency changes. And once that urgency is lost, evidence opportunities are lost with it.
So you got a new document from the coroner who was involved in Kendrick's case. What did you find out?
Well, Anderson, you know, the Johnsons really wanted to get some details from that video, that blurry video you just showed, about how this investigation was handled. They say it was bungled at best, used as a cover-up at the very worst. Well, we now have details from an official on the scene, the coroner, Bill Watson, about that investigation. Here it is. It's coroner's death investigation report. I'm going to read from it. He writes, the investigative climate was very poor to worse when I arrived on the scene. The body had been noticeably moved. The scene had been compromised, and there was no cooperation from law enforcement at the scene.
Please pay attention to what he's saying.
That information necessary for my lawful investigation was withheld. Now, this is one version of the coroner's death investigation report. This is another. This one was sent to us as a result of an open records request from the coroner's office, and it's signed and dated. This copy was given to us in May by the sheriff's office, and again last week as a result of that law enforcement. It does not have the description that I just read, nor is it signed by the coroner. Two versions of the same report.
Wait a minute. I have not heard of that. This is stunning. There are two different versions of the same document, and the official one that the police and others have given you doesn't have any of what the coroner said about compromised crime scenes, about lack of cooperation from law enforcement. It's basically a completely kind of whitewashed version. Is that right?
Exactly. There are two versions, and the version that does not have the description was given to us twice by the sheriff's office. Initially when we asked for documents in May, and then again just last week as a result of that law enforcement. So of course, we called the attorney who represents both the sheriff and the coroner to ask, well, is the description true? Which information was withheld? Why are there two versions? And what's the response from the sheriff's office?
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys just hear what he said? He has two separate reports from the coroner. The one came from the sheriff's office was not signed. He has one that he got directly from the coroner that was signed. Two different stories. Bill Watson, which is the coroner, told the truth about the scene. Said the officer were holding information from them. The scene appeared to be compromised and contaminated. But the sheriff, more than once, the sheriff office gave them an unsigned version, modifying that verbiage. If they don't come clean and give another investigation, I'm sorry, we need to tear the city down. I said what I said. Let's get back into it.
Well, this is the statement he sent us as a response to our request. I'm going to read it to you. In light of the U.S. Attorney's review of this matter, the Lowndes County Sheriff and the Lowndes County Coroner will not comment further on this case. They will fully cooperate and respond to all inquiries of the United States Attorney. So no response and an indication they won't be responding to our questions in the future.
I mean, the best possible explanation, as I can think of off the top of my head, is that they're basically just trying to cover their incompetent investigation, according to the coroner. But then you could also say that they're actually trying to hide something beyond just an incompetent investigation.
Well, once we found these two documents and saw the differences, again, this just given to us last week, and this one in just a few days as well, two versions, but we wanted to give them the opportunity to explain.
Sure.
No explanation offered.
According to a verified news report, a classmate of Kendrick Johnson who was inside the gym at the time his body was discovered gave the following account. They pulled down the mat and his legs and feet were hanging out of it. He wasn't moving, and the smell, it smelled bad. You could smell it. This statement is critical for several reasons. First, the student did not say Kendrick's feet were protruding while the mat was standing upright. They stated that after the mat was pulled down, Kendrick's legs and feet were hanging outside of the mat. Now compare that statement to the crime scene photographs. The photographs show Kendrick's head and upper torso hanging outside of the mat, while his lower abdomen, legs, and feet tucked inside. His white, gray, and orange Nike shoes were positioned behind his knees, and his legs were bent and twisted inside of the mat. Now family, let's really think about this. Kendrick Johnson was shorter than the wrestling mat. Both positions cannot be true at the same time. It's impossible. If, as the student stated, Kendrick's legs and feet were hanging out of the mat when it was pulled down, then the crime scene photographs, which show the opposite orientation, indicate that his body was repositioned at some point after discovery. I believe the student, as she was an eyewitness. This is not speculation. It is a matter of physical impossibility. A body cannot naturally transition from legs and feet hanging outside of the mat to legs and feet tucked inside the mat behind the knees without movement or handling. This discrepancy raises a critical forensic question. Was Kendrick Johnson's body moved after the teacher and students discovered him and before the scene was fully documented by investigators and the medical examiner?
You remember, guys, do you remember last week? We got Young Nine in the house. Hey, Young Nine, welcome to Kicking It with Auntie Leah. I'm so happy to have you on the panel. It's so good to meet you.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Everybody in the chat, give big ups and say welcome to Young Nine, who has graced us with his presence. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I was about to ask a question, but I done lost my train of thought. Auntie a little old.
Oh.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
A few years ago, probably about 6. I give a good 6 years ago. I was living in Douglas, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up running into the Revolutionary Black Panther Party.
Mm-hmm.
They was down there with Miss Jackie at the time.
Okay.
And I was interested in it because I always been a person that was for my people.
Right.
And I ended up getting recruited in the Valdosta chapter the Revolutionary Black Panther Party as MOI.
Okay.
That's member of information which I get all the information up and everything for the party.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard the story I start digging deep into it.
Mhm.
Um, Talking to Miss Jackie on a personal level on it.
Mhm.
And from that day forward, we had to develop a very good bond. Um, and every time she had something going on as far as marching and speaking up, speaking out to the people,
Mhm.
I was attending it,
Mhm.
and I did a lot of security um, on side when we marched and everything like that.
Mhm.
But this case, I just I'm just so confused of like visually seeing the case where it's just so obvious. Like I've never seen something that's so obvious being like ignored, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and like and they tried to do a lot of cover up on the case.
Mhm.
It just they just couldn't. It's just too much that they had to do to where it just left a bunch of holes, leak holes in it to where you like, okay, if y'all saying this, how is this? And you could just
Right.
do that. You could just do that with everything they try to throw
Everything.
up. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And it bothered me so bad to where I didn't have no choice but to join. You know, I didn't have no
Yeah.
choice but to be beside Miss Jackie and just support her through that. You know,
Right. Right. I feel the same way. I mean, it's like they can't explain anything.
nothing.
None of it makes sense. Not one thing makes sense. We can debunk every lie that they throw out. And we should be outraged. Actually, this happened before Michael Brown, guys. Actually, Kendrick Johnson's demise should have been actually the start of the Black Lives Matter, whatever you, outrage. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, hey Yvonne, he wasn't. And I don't understand that. But here's the thing, it's not too late. And I'm not saying we have to go burn stuff down or whatever, but I am saying that we do need to really put pressure on this city or they're not going to bend. But I have, in my heart, I really do believe that one of the people involved, allegedly, is going to break. Somebody's carrying this burden and they can't take it no more.
You know,
That's what.
did you hear about um? They were saying it was a party,
Mhm.
and one of the guys was drunk and start spilling everything.
Mhm. Yep.
It's just
That was Brandon.
yeah, and me, I ain't gonna lie. Me, if I was there, I probably have been recording like a mug. I ain't
I
gonna
would have
lie.
been recording like a mug too.
But I don't know, man. It's just I ain't gonna lie. Being a part of the Revolutionary Black Panther Party and being attached to so many different black organizations, I end up meeting a lot of different black organizations, a
Uh
lot
huh.
of all around the country, and
Okay.
it's like something that I noticed about it, and it made me fall back as far as a whole for our black people, but for the people that sincerely had something going on in their life that they was enduring,
Mhm.
I was I was still a part of it.
Right.
But what made me feel some type of way was times that we was over there in Valdosta
Mhm.
marching, standing up, you know what I'm saying, by the school and talking and stuff like that. I saw that that city itself, even with the percentage of population that's black,
Mhm. Over 50%, guys.
it was more blacks. I'm just say people period because it wasn't too many white folks, but
Mhm.
it was more blacks, more people outside of Valdosta there than Valdosta.
And
And
that's sad.
when and when I saw that, I was like, you know what? It's gonna be hard for that city to be punished when you don't even have our own race that's within the city standing up with her. Like I just didn't understand it, and I look at things as a whole now. Like as far as
Mhm.
our race,
Mhm.
we just don't support unless it's our kind. I ain't gonna say our kind. Our people. Like
Mm-hmm.
it gotta be a family member, somebody that we actually know personally to sit there
Right.
and support and beat her. And I don't like that. Like, and I've always been a caring person. Like if something's going through with someone, I try to do my best to try to support, beat up for them as much as I
Mm-hmm.
can.
Right.
And but just by the history alone of what we've been through, you would think that we will willingly just beat up for us and join forces to when we are wrongful, you know what I'm saying, being done wrong.
I agree. I agree.
So it literally made me like it made me take a step back. It
Yeah.
did.
It's a sad situation. But hey, it's not too late. It's not too late for our culture to redeem ourselves. We can come together. We can get his name out there. We can work together. And we can get justice for Kendrick Johnson. So we will get back into the video right now. All right, guys, let's get right back into it.
And if so, who moved the body? When was it moved? Why was that movement necessary? And how did that movement impact blood patterns, lividity, and evidence interpretation?
And who took the
I have
straps
so
off the
many
mat?
unanswered questions.
Kendrick Johnson was found dead in a rolled-up gym mat at his high school. Originally ruled accidental. The parents are very upset. They believe that their son was murdered. So now feds took over the investigation. But now the latest development we're getting is that there was an email tip sent to the sheriff's office saying and implicating certain individuals. The sheriff's office, which ruled this an accident, now following up on that the next day, issuing subpoenas, and it seems like this investigation moving forward. Joey Jackson, Mike Brooks with me, and Jane Velez Mitchell, host of Jane Velez Mitchell, joins us now. Jane, it seems from where I'm sitting, this is a big, big development in trying to get to the bottom of what happened here.
Absolutely, Vinny. And I think it's great that with alacrity, investigators interviewed two of the four individuals named in this anonymous email tip. I'd like to see them go further. First of all, I'd like to know, where were they at the time of Kendrick Johnson's death? So that's number one. Also, if you're looking at the poor individual, the victim there in the rolled up gym mat, there's clothing, there's a lot of material around there. What about their DNA, their fingerprints? Is there any matchup between those two? So I think that there's a lot of work still to be done. I'm also curious. I heard the report that 100 people were interviewed in the wake of this. And I want to know, were those two individuals or the four individuals named in the anonymous tip amongst those 100 individuals originally interviewed? And of course, the biggest question, who sent the anonymous tip? Is this person possibly the one who's actually involved and wants to throw police off as we get closer to a possible resolution with the feds getting involved and a grand jury convening to hear this? Is this possibly an effort to send them in the wrong direction? So it really compounds the mystery, but there's a lot to work with here.
Well, Jane, Victor Blackwell said that the four names have come up in the investigation before. So we don't know if they are possibly part of the 100 who were interviewed, and they are trying to find out the origin and who sent this. So, you know, they've interviewed two. They didn't interview the other two. Could this also be an investigative ploy? Could this be, talk to two of them, and maybe there might be some talk between the others? And I don't think that they're ignoring the other two totally.
Okay, guys, for everyone who doesn't know, allegedly the four individuals that they are speaking of is Brian Bell, Brandon Bell, Taylor Eakin, and Ryan Hall, allegedly. You guys remember the affidavit, the sworn affidavit that I showed you from Ryan Domek Hernandez that stated that Brandon Bell, which is the older brother of Brian Bell, basically confessed to him, saying that Brian Bell had a steroid rage episode and hit Kendrick on the side of his neck and face with a weight, and it was all over a girl. And Ryan and Brandon and Brian rolled him up in the mat, called the Bell brothers' dad, Rick Bell, the ex-GBI FBI agent, put it in a sworn affidavit, and the Lowndes Department or Sheriff Department and police, this, instead of investigating the lead, instead of trying to validate the sworn statement that he also passed a lie detector test on the Ashes podcast, he passed it, and Ash Patino no longer reported on her. On that documentary. I still got a bone to pick with you, Ash. I still would like to know why, after he passed that polygraph test, why did you stop the series? Why did you stop the series? But anyway, those are the 4 people. We'll get back into it. It seems like the police and the Sheriff Department and the GBI sought to discredit witnesses and discredit leads instead of validating them. Allegedly, that's a cover-up to me. I'm just saying.
The school too.
The school too. All of them.
All
Everybody. Absolutely.
Everybody had a hand into covering it up, man. That's sad as heck.
Yes, Uncle G. Yes, it was surveillance in the gym, but guess what? The camera that we needed is blurry, and it's missing over an hour of footage. So the camera pointed toward the mats is blurry. You can't see nothing. And then the other cameras, you're missing over an hour of footage. Allegedly, and actually, a ex-FBI agent analyzed the surveillance footage and said he confirmed it was not the real footage. It had been edited.
Tampered with. Yep.
And tampered with. And still, they're covering it up.
They ain't had no explanation to that.
None. They don't have no explanation to none of the questions I have, but I'm going to keep asking them. Let's get back into it.
In forensic investigations, the original position of a body is foundational evidence. Once that position is altered, the original context cannot be reconstructed, which brings us back to procedure, timing, and preservation, and why those early decisions in Kendrick Johnson's case continue to raise serious, unanswered questions. If the body was moved before the coroner arrived, and the coroner was not called for 5 to 6 hours, then the most critical forensic window may have already been compromised, like Bill Watson originally stated. According to records, Coroner Bill Watson did not arrive at the scene until approximately 5 to 6 hours after Kendrick was discovered. This raises a final question. Why was the coroner not called immediately? How did that delay affect evidence preservation, the body examination, the blood pattern interpretation, and the overall investigative posture? Family, in death investigations, time matters. Beyond the items already discussed, additional evidence was collected or observed that raises further unanswered questions. Let's talk about it. A gray Hollister pullover hoodie sweatshirt was collected at the scene and logged as evidence. However, surveillance footage shows that Kendrick Johnson did not enter the gym wearing a hoodie. That raises immediate questions. Who did the hoodie belong to? Was the sweatshirt tested for blood or DNA? Was it examined for touch DNA or fiber transfer? Was the owner of the hoodie identified and questioned? If an item of clothing not seen on Kendrick appears at the scene, it becomes critical to determine whose clothing it was and how it got there. I can find no record that confirmed these questions were ever answered. In addition to the Adidas shoe discussed earlier, another black and white Adidas shoe was located feet away from Kendrick's body. That raises additional questions. Was this second Adidas shoe tested for blood? Was it tested for DNA or fingerprints? How did that shoe end up outside of the mat when the other shoe was inside with Kendrick allegedly reaching for it? If shoes are found near a body, especially when they are not being worn...
Guys, isn't that weird? You have one Adidas shoe feet away from Kendrick in the mat. It's just feet away. And then you have the shoe that he's reaching for with no blood on it under the mat. How does that make sense? How did the first shoe get out the mat? I don't know. I do know. We know what's going on, but it's just ridiculous.
Worn by the deceased, they warrant full forensic analysis. The accidental angle makes absolutely no sense. Crime scene documentation also notes a pair of gray, black, and orange Nike shoes located near the north wall of the gym, separate from Kendrick's body.
The blood on the shoe? But investigators say tests show the stains are something other than blood.
so the shoes were not collected as potential evidence.
I don't understand why.
CNN took the photos to independent private investigator and former FBI Special Agent Harold Kopus. If you were on the scene, would this have been something you would have left?
No, bag and tag.
There's no indication investigators ever even looked for the owner of the shoes or this hooded sweatshirt found a few feet from Kendrick's body.
And if you look real close, there's something on this particular cup. And then the question is, was it blood? Did you test it?
According to the crime lab report, no.
They know something happened in that jam, and they don't want it to come out.
For the Johnsons, there's no stronger indicator than this photo. It's of what appears to be blood dripping down a wall. Here's what Lowndes County Lieutenant Stride Jones told CNN about that wall in May.
And we tested it, and it was blood. Now, we did DNA testing, and it was not the blood of Kendrick Johnson.
If it wasn't Kendrick blood, who blood was it?
Did you ever find out who it was or any involved?
No, as of now, we haven't, no. But it doesn't appear to be related to our crime in any way.
What do you think about the decision not to test it further?
You can't explain it. If you're running the crime scene, then you're going to say that's potential evidence. Obviously, we're going to check this out and find out who's it belonged to. This is an athletic gym. I mean, obviously, this is where they conduct various athletic classes and instructions at.
A kid couldn't have scraped their knee or arm themselves and got that much blood on the wall.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 impact. The opinion of our crime scene personnel, after looking at it closely, the blood appeared as it had been there for an extended period of time. It didn't appear to be very fresh. School gym. There is no way that they would allow whoever was supposed to clean this gym to leave that blood on that wall.
And there's the question, why was there no blood where they expected to see lots of blood? Remember the photo of that shoe investigators say was inches below Kendrick's head? Look at it again.
If he was inside the net, reaching for that shoe, inside this tube, reaching for the shoe, and the shoe is beneath him, why isn't that shoe covered with blood?
And what do you think about that shoe not being covered with blood, dude?
It was placed there.
Hey, Sheriff Ryan. Hi. Victor Blackwell, CNN.
Sheriff Ryan. The Sheriff's Department has denied a cover-up, but we took the Johnsons' concerns to Lowndes County Sheriff Chris Klein.
I've got some questions about the Kendrick Johnson case. Why not, sir?
Because our case is closed.
The family has some concerns about why some things were not taken into evidence. There was blood on the wall.
Discuss the case with you.
And why is that?
Because I don't want that.
Then, less than a minute after he'd invited us in,
Why do you not understand that I said I'm too thoughtful?
He ushered us out.
Thank you, Sheriff Ryan.
I don't believe this is an action. I think this one more meant to foul play.
The Justice Department is reviewing the pictures and the video to decide if it'll launch a federal investigation into Kendrick's death. But for Kendrick's father, the evidence is clear.
Someone murdered him. They should be in jail. They are covering up. They should be in jail.
Victor Blackwell joins us now. So the former FBI agent says that the crime scene was contaminated. How so?
Well, Harold Kopus says that it's crime scene 101, that when you're on a scene investigating, you wear the shoe protectors. Those are the blue booties you see on the crime shows on television. Well, look at these pictures. You can see here that these investigators are not wearing the shoe protectors. And it's not so much to protect the scene, rather to protect the shoes, but it's to protect the scene from anything you could track in. And Kopus says because they're not wearing those protectors, this scene was obviously contaminated.
And clearly, you tried to talk to the sheriff there. They clearly didn't want to talk. Is there anyone tied to the investigation who is willing to talk?
Well, we went to speak with the superintendent of Lowndes County Schools, Wes Taylor, and we asked him about the blood on the wall and how long it had been there. Also, I mean, if the theory is true that he slipped into these mats after climbing onto the bleacher to get the shoe, are the mats still there? His answer to most of our questions: we are cooperating with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. We wouldn't go further than that.
You would think someone who worked at that school would either be able to say, oh yeah, I remember when a student bled all over the wall in 6 different places, or not. It'd be interesting to hear if they've been talked to. What about the Department of Justice? Where are they in the status of the investigation?
The U.S. attorney in Macon, who covers this district, his name is Michael Moore, and we've spoken with him several times. And each time he says that he's reviewing the information from the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office, and he is going to work to decide if he will open a criminal investigation. Now, just a few weeks ago, we heard from the Civil Rights Division. They said that they will not open an investigation through their department, but it still could be opened as a criminal investigation. Michael Moore says he could come up with that decision in a week or in a month. He doesn't feel rushed. He wants to make sure that he gets it right.
Investigators noted spots that appeared to be blood on these shoes. A presumptive test later indicated the substance was not blood. However, that finding raises another question. Why were these shoes not collected for DNA and fingerprint testing? Because presumptive testing only determines whether a substance is blood. It does not rule out touch DNA, skin cells, or sweat or epithelial transfer. Additionally, what size were these Nike shoes? Were they the same size as Kendrick's shoes? If not, whose shoes were they? We will never know, because without collecting and analyzing them, those questions remain unanswered. Now let's talk about the blood on the wall. Blood stains on the south wall of the gym were collected and tested, and the results determined that the blood did not belong to Kendrick Johnson. That finding is critical, which leads to the next questions. Whose blood was it? Were identifying measures taken to determine the source of that blood? Was that individual identified, interviewed, and ruled out as a person of interest? And if so, how were they eliminated from possible involvement? If not, why was that step not taken? Family unidentified blood at a death scene is not a minor detail. It is a forensic lead. The blood evidence mattered but was ignored. Why? Lowndes County needs to answer the damn questions. You won't believe what happened next. Investigators documented that a window on the south side of the cafeteria was found open, with no signs of forced entry. This raises several procedural questions. Was that window fingerprinted? Was it tested for DNA or touch evidence? Is it normal for that window to be left open? And if so, who confirmed that it was normal for the window to be ajar, and who opened the window? And finally, was that individual questioned? The absence of forced entry does not eliminate the need to determine who had access and when. If a window was opened, understanding why it was open and who opened it becomes part of the investigative process, yet it was also ignored. In a death investigation, a cell phone is one of the most critical pieces of evidence because it can establish timeline, movement, intent, and third-party contact. When a report states that a phone was retrieved from the decedent's pocket, there are standard forensic steps that should be considered. Let's discuss a clear investigative breakdown of what matters and why it matters, especially in a case like Kendrick Johnson's. Here is what investigators should examine on a cell phone. The call logs, both incoming and outgoing, should have been fully researched. The last calls made and received, the missed calls, the call durations, and whether calls were incoming after the estimated time of death are equally important. Let's discuss why it matters. It helps establish last known contact, possible conflicts, or attempts to reach help. Next, text messages and iMessages should have been fully examined. Also, the sent messages, received messages, deleted messages, and the draft messages should have been fully examined. This includes timestamps as well. Here is why it matters. Messages can reveal intent, fear, plans, arguments, or arrangements shortly before death. Next, app activities, such as social media, including DMs, posts, and likes, needed to be fully examined. In addition, messaging apps, such as Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, etc., should have been investigated in detail. Let's not forget the gaming or school-related apps that should have been fully examined. And here is why it mattered. This information shows who Kendrick was communicating with and what they were doing close to the time of death. This information includes location data, which is extremely important. The GPS history, Wi-Fi connections, cell tower pings, and Bluetooth connections should have been fully investigated, and here is why it matters. This data can confirm where the phone traveled to, how long it stayed in one location. It can establish whether movement stopped suddenly and if the phone moved after the person was incapacitated. Additionally, examining the screen state and battery status is crucial in a death investigation. Was the phone on or off? What was the battery percentage? Was the screen locked or unlocked? And what was the last screen activity? Finally, if Kendrick was in a state of an emergency and indeed fell into the mat, why didn't he attempt to call 911 for help? I call bullshit. So family, this information can indicate sudden interruption, struggle, or loss of consciousness. Why didn't Kendrick Johnson receive a damn fair investigation? The phone.
So did you guys hear what I just said in the documentary? He had a cell phone in his pocket. If he was conscious and he fell into that mat, which we already know and established that it's impossible for him to do so, why didn't he reach into his pocket and call for help? That's because he couldn't call for help. Either he couldn't call for help because he was already unalived and he was unconscious, which is what I believe, or he couldn't reach his phone, which means that it makes no sense for him to go into the mat. Because that means that if he didn't have any room to maneuver, he would have had to squeeze himself into the mat. Right? Just doesn't make sense.
Phone could reveal photos and videos along with the last photo or video taken. The metadata reveals the time, location, and device orientation. Also, the metadata can confirm exact time and place, even if images appear unrelated. Equally important is the deleted data recovery, deleted text messages, deleted call logs, deleted photos, and deleted app activity are all crucial in a death investigation. And last but not least, family, deleted data often contains the most important information as it can determine chain of custody, which is critical. Therefore, here are my questions to the Lowndes Sheriff Department. Who collected the phone? When it was collected, where was it stored? Can you advise who accessed it and whether it was powered on, charged, or examined before forensic imaging? Here is why this is crucial. If the chain of custody is broken, evidence integrity is compromised. What should have happened procedurally in a best practice investigation? The phone should have been immediately isolated, placed in a Faraday bag to prevent remote access, and forensically imaged by trained digital examiners with the original data preserved, and an analysis done on a copy of the data. Failure to do this can result in data alteration, data loss, the inability to verify timelines, and permanent loss of truth. Why is this especially important in Kendrick Johnson's case? Given the disputed timelines, questions about movement and discovery, and evidence handling concerns, a phone allegedly found on his person could have confirmed when Kendrick was last active. It also could have shown who he was with or communicating with, helped establish a minute-by-minute timeline, and clarified whether his death was accidental or involved third parties. Lowndes County should release the cell phone analysis to the public, and if that analysis was not done, not documented, and not preserved, that negligence represents a lost opportunity for truth. And the bottom line is this: a cell phone is not just personal property. In a death investigation, it is a digital witness. Why wasn't Kendrick given a damn fair investigation? Now, up to this point, we have examined evidence that was present, observed, or collected, yet left with unanswered questions. But there is another category that must be addressed. It's not evidence that was mishandled. It's not evidence that was misunderstood, but evidence that was never collected at all. In any death investigation, what is not collected can be just as telling as what is, and this brings us to the next section. In reviewing the official reports, photographs, and documentation, several forms of evidence that are commonly collected in suspicious or unexplained deaths were absent from the investigative record. The crime scene photographs show a pool of blood on the gym floor near Kendrick's head, and the documentation reflects that the blood from the wall was collected and tested, but there is no clear record that the blood pooled on the floor was collected, swabbed, or analyzed. This raises an immediate question. Why was floor blood not collected and tested while wall blood was? Was the floor blood assumed to belong to Kendrick without confirmation? And if so, why was that assumption made? Uncollected blood is an unanswered forensic question. While photographs were taken, there is no indication that a full bloodstain pattern analysis was conducted. To be specific, there was no documented analysis of directionality, no assessment of flow versus impact, and no reconstruction to determine timing and movement. Blood patterns are not just stains, they are events. Without formal analysis, conclusions remain incomplete. Several items that were observed or handled at the scene were not documented as being tested for touch DNA. These items include the rolled-up mat exterior and interior,
Exactly,
the
Kat.
Adidas shoe located several feet away from Kendrick, the black Adidas shoe allegedly being reached for, the hoodie sweatshirt, and the yellow folder and blue book, because touch DNA can exist even when no blood is present. So the question becomes, why was touch DNA not collected from key items that may have been handled? This investigation lacks integrity and resembles blatant disregard for Kendrick's life. It shows that the way Kendrick died was not as important than the budget. It's not wrong for one to wonder if Kendrick was a different color. Would the investigation been treated differently? Kendrick's life mattered. Now, the wrestling mat itself was collected, but the documentation does not clearly reflect collection of trace material from inside the mat, fiber transfer testing, and debris comparison between Kendrick's clothing and the mat interior. If the mat was central to the cause of death, its interior should have been treated as a primary evidentiary surface. Additionally,
I always thought, guys, I always wondered, was the mat really tested? What was found on the inside of the mat? Was it scratch marks on the mat? Was this any indication of him trying to get out of the mat? Were there footprints, anything, bite prints or anything inside the mat? There's absolutely no information made public about the testing, if there were testing, or anything, any analysis on this mat. Why? The mat is a part of the crime scene. Why do we not have any documentation that tells us what they tested on the mat?
The measurements that they normally go through investigating on a crime scene, they did not do none of that.
None of it.
None of that. If it was vice versa, man, everything would have been taken in consideration. Everything.
Exactly. And it's all because it took them 15 minutes to say this kid died of an accident. Now, you guys also know my theory, right? Those two sisters, that the ones that climbed on top of the mat to lay down and found Kendrick, I believe they were plants to find Kendrick, because it's not normal to climb on top of mats that are standing up vertical to so-called take a nap in the middle of class. What teacher would allow that?
Even it was students that allegedly said that they never climbed up on top of those mats like that. They say they'll push them down to retrieve the tools from the bottom of it. They say nobody does that.
So these two sisters decide on this day to climb up on the mats, and we see socks protruding from a mat. You allegedly, in my opinion, and it is my opinion, were a part of the so-called alleged cover-up.
I agree, because I'm pretty sure the mat itself, like rolled up, standing like how it was, is taller than the female. That's taller.
Absolutely.
So it's impossible for them to say, "Oh, we seen something hanging at the top of it."
Right. Right. The police report that I do have the police report, they told the detective that they were climbing up on the mat because they were going to lay down. That's not comfortable.
That don't even make sense. Who going to be sleeping on top of the mat when it's like it ain't even long enough or wide enough to even lay down on top of it.
Hello. Yes.
Now, it'll be different if you saying you push it down, you roll it out, and you lay it on like as a sleeping bag on the floor. But for it to be rolled up, standing tall, who's gonna get on top of that to take a nap?
Nobody.
It's like I say, every aspect of this case, bro, it does not make sense. None of it.
None of it makes sense at all, guys. And I'm like you guys, I've uncovered so many discrepancies in this case, in this evidence. It is ridiculous. Down to the sheriff, Mr. Sheriff Ashley Polk, who said on national TV that the Johnsons can call me a cracker, but they can't call me a liar. That right there is racial bias when you said they can call you a cracker. That already exposed your mindset. that exposes your racism. So they definitely didn't get a fair investigation on that second investigation, and it should be null and void, and we should be calling for a new investigation, a special prosecutor out of Washington that has nothing to do with Valdosta to go look at this evidence. Because basically, according to the documentary Finding Kendrick, the FBI or the DOJ already admitted to the Johnsons, we know the shoe was planted. We know that. It's just they got rid of all the evidence. And just like this detective, and I'm going to try to show a piece of watching Finding Kendrick Johnson, but I'm trying not to get a copyright strike. I'll have to show it to you. Hope they don't pick it up. If they do, I'll just, cut it out or whatever. They basically told the Johnsons, we know that he was unalived. We know that the shoe was planted. We just don't have enough evidence. They had enough evidence for a judge to sign up on a warrant to raid Rick Bell, Brian Bell, and Brandon Bell's home. There's no judge that's going to sign up on a warrant without any evidence. So there is evidence. And what gets me is, instead of them prosecuting and instead of them declaring what this actually was, they made Rick Bell retire from the GBI. Make it make sense. Let's get back to it. Make it make sense, guys, because it absolutely doesn't.
There's no documentation indicating that fingerprints were collected from the open cafeteria window, the mat surface, blue book, the yellow folder, nor the shoes found away from Kendrick's body. Fingers help establish who interacted with what and when. Their absence leaves gaps in the elimination process. With unidentified blood on the wall and multiple items belonging to unknown individuals at the scene, standard practice would include elimination samples to rule people out. Unfortunately, the record does not clearly indicate who was eliminated, how they were eliminated, or whether elimination sampling occurred at all. Without elimination, exclusion is incomplete because investigations are not defined only by what is done. They are defined by what is missed. When blood is left untested, when DNA is not collected, when trace evidence is not pursued, and when elimination steps are skipped, the opportunity for answers narrows. And once that opportunity is lost, it cannot be recovered.
Let's slow this down for a moment because details...
Guys,
the official narrative surrounding...
I want you guys to pay attention. Pay close attention to what I'm about to break down. Take notes. It don't make sense.
The death of Kendrick Johnson is based largely on the first autopsy performed by Dr. Mary Ann Gaffney Craft. That autopsy concluded Kendrick died from positional asphyxia, with the explanation being that he voluntarily entered a rolled gym mat head first to retrieve a shoe. But when you actually examine the physical evidence, that conclusion does not line up. One detail in the autopsy report cannot be ignored. Dr. Gaffney Craft documented that Kendrick Johnson's left ear showed a bent lobe position artifact. Now let me explain why that matters. In forensic pathology, a position artifact means a change caused by pressure from positioning, not disease, and not something that naturally happens. In plain language, Kendrick's ear was bent because it was pressed against something for a period of time. Earlobes do not bend and stay bent without time and pressure. Now, let's compare that finding to the official story. We are told Kendrick voluntarily went into the mat head first, reaching down for a shoe. If that were true, then the mechanics should be simple. The body should be vertically aligned. Pressure should be downward, not sideways. Any contact with the sides of the mat should be brief. Soft tissue like an earlobe should not experience sustained lateral compression. But that is not what the evidence shows. When forensic findings do not align with the physical evidence, justice can be delayed or denied. These conditions are inconsistent with a brief, voluntary head-first reach. The autopsy did not adequately address when the pressure occurred, how long the pressure was applied, why the pressure was lateral rather than vertical, how the documented body posture aligns with the theory of positional asphyxia, why the physical presentation resembles rolling or lateral placement rather than descent. The evidence, as documented, does not support positional asphyxia as it has been presented, and when a conclusion does not reconcile with the facts, it must be re-examined. That is why Kendrick Johnson's case demands independent review. That is why an unbiased special prosecutor is necessary, and that is why the original autopsy must be scrutinized, not shielded. Kendrick Johnson was a 17-year-old child. His family deserves answers grounded in science, not narratives that don't fit the evidence. Justice begins where silence ends.
Let's examine what happens when a case is treated as accidental too early. The urgency changes, the scope narrows, and critical evidence is often left behind. That is where this investigation appears to have shifted, and this is why we still have so many questions today. As investigators documented the scene, numerous items were visible in photographs and video that were not collected, preserved, or analyzed, despite being located in close proximity to Kendrick Johnson's body. For one, the basketballs in the gym. Multiple basketballs were present throughout the gym and visible near the scene, but none were collected. None were tested for fingerprints or touch DNA, and none were evaluated for recent handling. In a space where a death occurred, objects that are routinely handled by multiple people can still provide elimination value. Their complete exclusion leaves unanswered questions. The entire school should have been the damn crime scene, but yet they allowed school to go on as usual. Near the corner of the gym where Kendrick was found, there were numerous empty Gatorade and soda bottles. These bottles were not collected and they were not tested for fingerprints or DNA. Why? Additionally, ownership of said bottles was not established either. Notably, no similar debris was documented in other corners of the gym, making this cluster of items location-specific. That raises a reasonable question. Why was debris concentrated near this corner, yet not collected or analyzed?
Guys, do you remember earlier in the documentary where they mentioned, and you guys actually saw these black, gray, and white shoes that were sitting by the bleachers? Do you know I watched the whole crime scene video like 20 times and I could not find those shoes in the gym? They're not anywhere. I'm going to post a link to the full crime scene video, and if any of you guys can find that shoe that they showed, I'm going to send you $20 because that's all I got. I don't make no money on YouTube or Facebook. You know, I don't talk about the popular, stories, so I make pennies, which is fine with me. But if you can find that shoe in this crime scene video, I'll give you $20. It's not there. Let's keep going. I wonder where they got that shoe from, because it wasn't in the gym.
And what about the trash can? A trash can containing trash was present in the gym, but the contents were not collected. The contents were not documented item by item, and no testing for fingerprints or DNA was performed. Trash cans often contain discarded items that can help establish who was present, when, and doing what. Leaving the contents unexamined represents a missed evidentiary opportunity. Do you think this was intentional? It's too many discrepancies and unanswered questions in this case to not think it was intentional, and folks wonder why the public believes everything points to a cover-up. The GBI and Lowndes County should release the entire case file to the public and answer the damn questions.
Answer the damn questions.
Setting, surveillance cameras are expected to provide an objective record, a silent witness that helps establish timelines, movements, and accountability. In this case, the surveillance footage should have been central to the investigation. Instead, it became one of the most troubling gaps. According to statements provided over time, Lowndes High School was equipped with multiple surveillance cameras covering hallways, common areas, and portions of the gym complex. Footage from January 10th and January 11th, 2013 should have documented who entered and exited the gym area, who was present, and what occurred in the hours before and after Kendrick went missing. However, an unusual pattern emerged. The only cameras reportedly blurry during this critical time frame were the cameras aimed toward the gym mats, the very area where Kendrick was later found. Cameras in other parts of the school reportedly produced clearer images. No detailed technical report has ever been publicly released explaining why those specific cameras were affected on those specific days. Equally concerning is what does not exist. There is no available surveillance footage showing the student and teacher who discovered Kendrick's body. There is no video capturing the moment of discovery. There is no release footage showing the immediate response inside the gym either. In a school environment monitored by cameras, the absence of any visual record of the most critical moment in the case is highly unusual. Adding to these concerns are irregularities within the footage that has been made available. Observers have noted time jumps, abrupt skips in continuity where footage appears to move forward without explanation. These irregularities have allegedly raised questions about whether portions of the video were altered, edited, or selectively preserved. No independent forensic video analysis has been publicly released to confirm or refute these concerns. Authorities have stated that some cameras were not functioning, some footage was overwritten, and some cameras did not cover the precise area. What has never been released, however, is a comprehensive surveillance audit for January 10th through 11, 2013. There is no public document showing a camera-by-camera inventory, operational status logs, timestamp verification, preservation timelines, or a chain of custody record for the video evidence. The question is why? Because in a death investigation involving a minor on school property, these records are not optional. They are standard. The official conclusion of accidental positional asphyxia relies heavily on assumptions about Kendrick's movements, his isolation, and the amount of time he remained undiscovered. Surveillance footage is the only neutral evidence that could have confirmed or challenged those assumptions. Instead, key footage is missing, unclear, or disputed. This analysis is not an accusation. It is a request for transparency. When evidence that should exist does not, the absence itself becomes a question, one that does not fade with time. Truth does not fear cameras, and transparency does not expire, and unanswered questions do not disappear. This documentary was not created to tell you what to think. It was created to show you what has never been fully explained. Kendrick Johnson was 17 years old. He went to school on January 10th, 2013, and he never came home. The next day, his body was found inside a gym mat, and from that moment on, his family was forced to fight not only for answers, but for acknowledgement. Over the years, official conclusions were reached, but conclusions are only as strong as the evidence that supports them. We have examined medical findings that conflict. We have examined surveillance footage that is missing, unclear, or unexplained. We have examined procedures that were questioned, not by the public alone, but by independent professionals. What remains is not a theory. What remains is a responsibility. A responsibility to ask why critical evidence was unavailable. A responsibility to ask why contradictions were dismissed instead of examined. A responsibility to understand that transparency is not an attack, it is the foundation of trust. This case is not about rumor or emotion, it is about documentation. It is about accountability. It is about a young life that mattered. KJ mattered. Justice does not mean rushing to closure. Justice means being willing to look again, even when it is uncomfortable. Kendrick Johnson was a son. He was a student. He was a child. And the truth about what happened to him should never be buried beneath time, silence, or unanswered questions. Until every question is addressed, until every record is accounted for, this story is not over. Because truth does not expire, and neither does the pursuit of justice.
Some record of that activity, and we don't have any here.
Here's why Frederick would have expected the motion-activated system to record during that time. During that hour and 5 minutes,
when it was showing the cameras, when it's showing the missing footage, just to show everybody the timestamp of footage, how much footage of it, from the time he entered the gym to, you know what I'm saying, when they brought it back, when he didn't come back out. How much footage that was missing.
So, all right, so Jay, hey guys, his name is real name Jay. You know our other nephew, Jay Mizak, he's having technical difficulties. Yes, I have a speech impediment. That's why I use a voiceover. Everybody knows that some words I can't pronounce. I have a speech impediment, but I move forward. My other panel partner is named Jay as well. He's Jay Mizak. So he's been having technical difficulties. So I'm so glad. God got jokes, because your name is Jay too. So God got huge jokes as well. So what I plan on doing was the next video, we're going to break down the surveillance. If you notice on my page, I'm breaking it down by each segment. Yeah, Delilah is getting on my nerves, y'all. Delilah's my black cat. She likes to be in the camera. So we're gonna break that down next week, and I hope you be back.
Okay, I'll put that notification on.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that next week. Yeah, so we're gonna tear the surveillance up. I have put actually in a FIOA request for the whole file, and I'm praying that they'll send it to me. I ain't the right color though, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna try. Right, right, exactly. So the video's almost over, guys. We're gonna have a short conversation. I'm gonna show you the video that Jay, Young 9, put out for Kendrick 5 years ago. Is dope as FUCK, because you know Auntie I cuss, but I don't use those type of cuss words. You got to really piss me off for me to say the F word, you know. So we're gonna play that next. Hey, South Dakota. Missing persons, welcome. Justice for Kendrick. You got that right. You got that right. So we're going to continue. The video's almost over. I hope you guys just kind of took down everything, because at the end of this series, which is probably going to go on and on and on until they give us the justice that we want, we need to just stay on their ass. Period. Let's get back into it.
Students are seen walking into and out of the old gym from the surveillance camera just outside the gym door. We count 7 male students, and 3 of them walk into the gym within 3 minutes prior to Kendrick Johnson walking in.
I can't tell you whether there was no information recorded in the digital video system, or whether somebody made an error and didn't capture it, or whether somebody just didn't provide it.
When surveillance in the gym resumes at 1:09, we see just these few frames of Kendrick Johnson running in the gym. Here's that moment from all of the cameras in the gym, although there's a record from only 2, and the camera just outside the door. Notice, the hall camera timestamp appears to be 10 minutes behind, and there's no confirmation either time matches the exact time of day. It is the last time his image is captured on video. For the next hour, there are multiple gaps in the video surveillance in the gym.
And that is crucial. It's a really important time.
Well, it really is the only option to answer the question, really what happened.
And there's no video showing the initial discovery of a body in the gym. The next time we see Kendrick Johnson is the following day, when he's being wheeled out of the gym in a body bag.
Do you believe it's a coincidence that that time period in the gym is missing?
Oh boy. Investigators are always suspicious and should be suspicious. And it's suspicious that that time period is not there. So yes, I would be suspicious. And until I have the digital video system in my hand, until I can say, or an investigator can say, everything is intact, this was what's recorded, I would still be highly suspicious of it.
So after fighting for months on a city street corner and in the county courthouse to get the surveillance video, Kendrick Johnson's parents still do not know who was in the gym before Kendrick ran in, nor who, if anyone, was there or what happened in those moments after.
Right. Blackwell joins us now. So what's the school district and the sheriff's department saying?
Well, Anderson, we sent a long list of questions to both an attorney for the sheriff's office and an attorney for the Lowndes County School District. Well, we have not received an answer to our questions from the attorney for the sheriff's office, but we have received a response from the attorney for the school district. No comment.
No blue.
Although
no
that
blue
attorney
book.
has
Nowhere.
said that he
No
will make
blue book.
the original hard drive available to the court. And of course, the Johnsons want to make sure that all the information from the school's hard drive was then given to the sheriff's office, which they hope eventually was all passed on to them. And of course, we'll find that out. Anderson?
Exactly. Straight up bullshit. I love it, South Dakota. Straight up bullshit. We don't believe any of it. All of it's bullshit. We don't believe it. It is what it is. Where did so I guess that Young 9, he may have lost his where he at? Oh, he's right there. He's just all black. But anyway, guys, this whole lie It's ridiculous. I don't even understand why they think that we would believe it. We don't. So it's very important that we all share the information that's been put out there, share the lives, share the statuses, share the videos, share the documentation, share it all. I really, really, really appreciate all of you being here. And yes, Alina, we're going to keep the faith, because without faith, it's impossible to please God. And also that those that know that go to God must know that they hear him, that he hears them, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So we already know that it's going to happen. I don't know why the perpetrators and murderers don't understand that, but we understand that, right? So I want to thank you guys. I thank you for all the new people. We welcome super chats, super stickers on the channel to help the content, right? Because I pay for this out of my pocket. If you want to become a member of the green team, it's only $2.99 a month. Please feel free to become a member of the channel. Again, tonight I did not make a songography, but Jay Young 9, he made a songography that I want to basically go ahead and share the song that he made for Kendrick. It was a dope ass song. I'm excited for you guys to hear it. So before we go, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this song for you guys. I guess Auntie, y'all know I'm crazy. I done shared the wrong screen. Let me get the right screen up there. Hold up, I'm over 50. Leave me alone now. Leave me alone. I'm trying to get the right screen up there. Here we go. Where you at? There we go. Let's just check out this song before we go. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. We'll see you guys later this week. No justice, no peace. Yes, thank you so much, Young 9. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here with us. We want you to know we love you. This is a channel of love. This is a channel of love. It's a channel of peace. And this is a channel of truth seeking. Our queen is Jaguar Wright. Don't know if you know her, but we are a branch of the Jaguar Wright effect. Do you know who Jag is? Do you know? Yep. We are a branch of her channel. So she's our queen. She pops up sometimes. She didn't pop up today. She will pop up now, but we really do appreciate you, and that's why I don't have no fear. If you look at Jag, she ain't got no fear. She goes against the whole industry with no fear. What she taught us, and plus the Bible says God has not given me the spirit of fear and all that. He's given me the spirit of power. He's given me the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. That's why we love you. We appreciate you. We thank you for being here. We thank you for that song. You said that you feel like you might need to make it over. Go ahead, make it over, Auntie.
I've become very, very, very more educational, and as far as like with my words and everything, I've become like 10 times better now. Like
that's all right.
Right now, working on an album. It's coming out on my birthday. And you subscribe, I'm gonna let you know when
I'm subscribed. I hit the notification bell. All. You are welcome here anytime. You're welcome on the panel. Share your wisdom. We talk about a variety of things. We talk about, I have a hip hop is a graveyard segment as well. If you checked out my page, the next live on that is about Big L. If you know who he is from New York, Big L. So we just check out the page. We talk about gospel because God is my first love. I got videos about gospel artists. We have videos about cases like Kendrick when it comes to Darren Seals Jr., all of them, Danye Jones, everybody who's passed away like Kendrick, right, in the cover-up has began in different cities. I don't have one channel niche. I guess my channel niche is songographies. Let me explain to that what that is. I do make songographies. I use AI to make my music, even though I can play the keyboard, and I will play a melody, and I'll make a song, an AI song, right? So the songs that I have on my channel are songs that I've written, but I used AI to produce them. It is what it is.
My engineer he be doing that too. He real good at he really just started doing it. He
Hmm.
very good at writing
It's
music.
dope.
Yeah,
It's dope.
he put that little he'll put a voice on that more, and it sounds
Yeah.
so
You can
fire.
sing on it. You can play a melody. It's dope. So I just write the lyrics and we make songs or whatever. So I appreciate you sharing your songography because that's what it is. A songography is something that I created, and what it is a mini biography or a mini story in song form. So even though you may not didn't realize it, you made a songography because you told Kendrick's story in song version. Does that make sense? And if you notice, people listen to songs more than they read books, and people listen to songs more than they just listen. It's the lyrics that you got to put in there so they can learn. I've made songographies that people was like, I didn't know anything about this person until I listened to that. Now I know all about them. So it's a gift. So you did an amazing job. Okay, somebody, let me get you the link for his page. I got it right here. Let me go back.
I really appreciate the love in the
Every
chat, man.
It's all good. That's what we do. We share love. We share. Everybody go, please subscribe to Young Nine's channel. We normally have more people in the chat, but YouTube Archangel, thank you for the super chat, baby. I love you. And everybody that sent a super chat. Barbara J, I think Alina sent one. I love you. Every dollar that you send helps me continue to pay for the tools that I need to continue to fight for Kendrick, to continue to talk about other people. I'm paying out of my pocket for this stuff, and it doesn't even bother me. I don't even care as long as the stories gets out. But everybody hit the link. Go subscribe to Young Nine. We will see you later on this week. We will be back with another video. I'm hoping it's Big L. I am researching. I had people in my inboxes, guys, wanting to tell their stories. So, but guys told me to talk about Kendrick. I can't get off Kendrick. We're going to continue with that. But I do have another story that I'm working on as well. It's about Teron Jr. I'll let you know. He was also unalived, and it was guised as a suicide. So I will bring that story to you guys soon. But we're not coming off of Kendrick Johnson. Not until they get justice, right?
It's too ridiculous, man.
Exactly. Listen, let me show you guys. Let me show you guys this. They are having Kendrick's 13th. Go ahead. You tell them about it.
They do it every year. I think that's the day. It happened on January the 10th.
His anniversary. That's what they call it.
I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
I was talking to her earlier. It'd be worth it. I think at the door it's like $25. Before you pay before, I think it's like $20.
Okay.
But it goes into the KJ Foundation, whatever, and
right.
it'd be beautiful. It'd be well worth it.
Right. Yes. So if anybody wants to donate to this cause, please go donate to this cause. I am trying to find.
I got it in my inbox. She said
I do too, and I'm looking for it right now. I'm trying to find the flyer for it. Here it is, right here. I'm going to share it with you guys. Write down the Cash App. Stop screen. Hold on. Share screen. Yes. Can you guys see it? Yes. It is right here, guys. If you can, email the KJ Foundation. If you need the Cash App, I have that as well. But it's his 13th anniversary. And they do need donations to fund this event. I will post the Cash App because I don't think it's on the flyer. It doesn't look like it's.
She sent me like 3 different flyers. It was that one, and it was another one. It actually had the Cash App on there, and then it was another one. If that's the only one you got.
Let's see. What about this one?
Right there. Cash App right there in the middle.
So here's the Cash App, the KJ Foundation. the KJ Foundation. If you have $1 to send or whatever, please do so. And thank you for subscribing, South Dakota, to both of our pages. We love you guys. I will be back later this week. I will post this flyer on the page, guys. Please send what you can. We do have to get justice for this man, this young man. He was 17 years old. Same age as y'all nephew, Izzy, my son. What they did to him was wrong. We got to get justice for them. Anything you want to say before we leave? Young Nine?
I really appreciate you inviting me to this, and
you're welcome.
And sharing my video. I've been doing music since I was like 14. I've been recording since I was like 18, and I done had a few record labels trying to come get me and stuff like that, but
beware.
The type of music I do my when you say you like hip hop, I'm hip hop. Like the music you hear now in days is not hip hop. Like the people that go subscribe and actually go listen to my music, you be like, okay, I see what he's saying. I talk about a lot of stuff that I go through, stuff I've seen, stuff I've been around. You might see a couple songs sprinkling here and there. Like I'm just playing around, you know what I'm saying, metaphors, punchlines. I'm just bull crapping. But my actual real songs, you will see like it'll be like an album cover.
Okay.
And those the songs that I be going to depth. Like you'll know my whole life story. And another thing about my music is I hardly cuss. I like on my album songs, I hardly cuss at all. And that's why a lot of people like, especially a lot of old folks, they like to listen to my music and stuff like that. But I want to thank everybody, you know what I'm saying, that's encouraging me and listening to my music in the chat. And I want to appreciate you for inviting me and sharing my video. Because like you say, everything's matter. Every view, every subscription, all that comes into play when you got your YouTube channel.
Yes. And we thank you for being here, and we hope that you come back.
I'll be back.
You come back. All right. So, guys, it's 10 o'clock. So we will see you later on this week. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And shout out to Jaguar, right? Wolfgang, Amadeus, Jag Nation, Jag Country. Peace. See ya. And justice for KJ.
Justice for KJ.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for coming. Please like, share, and subscribe. Come back again.